Awesome. Well, thanks a lot for that introduction and for the previous presentations that have taken place. I think I'm 7 of 8, so we're almost there. Quickly to introduce myself. So my name is Rohan Kapoor. I manage our investor partnerships at Gorgias, which is in part focused on helping venture-backed companies scale through customer support, and also focused on helping our customers get in front of investors. And one of the ways that we've been able to do that is this new series called Vested Interest, which is essentially an online Shark Tank for companies. And in addition to that, I'm also lucky enough to be working with Rewind, who have been a fantastic partner, and they put together an amazing lineup of speakers yesterday and today. And so thanks again to them for having us. So we're going to start by walking through how to provide top-notch customer support in e-commerce, and then I'll introduce one of our customers, Karagan Osmann, who's the founder and CEO of the Smoo Co, for a discussion on how she's focusing on customer service to bring some of her BFCM strategies to life. Before we hop into it, just a quick note about us. So we're an e-commerce focused help desk that brings all communication channels and support into one place, built for multiple different channels, including email, social media, chat, phone, SMS. You can really use Gorgias to centralize each customer's conversation history across all of these channels. Gorgias' goal is to turn your customer support into a profit center. So we want to help turn support agents into more of salespeople. We're built specifically for e-commerce, so this is fitting. There are full integrations with Shopify, BigCommerce, and Magento, and also over 40 of the other most commonly used apps in running a direct-to-consumer business. And because of these integrations, support agents have easy access to all customer information for efficient handling. We'll pull in data from all of their apps to display really, really rich customer profiles, simple information like phone number and email to more complex information such as tracking. And our topic today, as Dasha pointed out, is how to provide top-notch customer support. So today, consumers and brands have a radically different relationship than they did 20 years ago. This is mainly due to an increased emphasis on customer experience. With so many competitors, keeping your customers around should definitely be a top priority. The best way to keep your customers satisfied and loyal is through good customer service, especially in such uncertain times like what we've experienced over the last 6 months with COVID-19. So in this presentation, we'll talk a little bit about what customer experience really is and why you need to pay so much attention, things that cause bad customer experiences and how to stop doing them, how to keep people 100% satisfied with 10 easy to follow tips. I want you to know just how important your customers are, why you need to keep them, and how to actually keep them. So what is customer experience and why is it so important? Your relationship with your customers play a big role in the success of your business. Customer service is the customer's perspective of their experience with your business. If you can manage to improve the customer's experience within your e-commerce business, then you can also improve your bottom line. Positive customer experiences will be reflected in your retention rates, your satisfaction rates, your sales numbers, and your overall revenue. Strong customer service skills are especially important for businesses that have a financial incentive to retain their customers and to keep them happy. This incentive has risen across many industries and niches, of course. A couple facts. So customer experience is now a strong revenue driver when you consider the fact that 3 out of 10 customers would look for another business after a single bad experience. 5 out of 10 will not make a purchase again after a bad customer experience, and 7 out of 10 customers will spend more on a business with good customer service. And despite all of these numbers, things obviously do not go according to plan always. Even with good intentions, some businesses end up leaving their customers with bad taste in their mouths, which leads us into what causes bad customer experiences. Bad customer experiences come in many different shapes and sizes, but there are some recurring elements that leave customers feeling completely frustrated. Research shows that the following are the most damaging to customer experience efforts. So long waits and slow response times. If your customers are left waiting for a response too long, they'll probably go to another online store. Failing to understand customer needs. A lack of understanding of your customers' questions will result in poor customer experience. Unresolved issues and unanswered questions. Failing to answer an inquiry won't help you leave a good impression and will leave many of your customers dissatisfied. Too much automation and lack of human touch, and this one is key. So although AI can help you with many tasks, it can't possibly answer all of the questions that you have from your customers. And lack of customer service personalization. Sending out generic responses to customer inquiries only shows that you don't really care about your customers and who they are. And that leads into the beef of the presentation. So 10 customer service tips that will help your business. And while we do recognize that every business is different, there are certain mistakes that most e-commerce businesses make. These are 10 things that you can do to avoid making those mistakes and to keep your customers satisfied. So number one, right at the top, you have to set the right KPIs for your representatives. Companies that are not measuring the success of their customer service don't have an idea of how good or how bad their reps are. If you want to get serious about customer service, you need to set clear KPIs for them. And here are a few that you can actually include in your customer experience report. Tickets created, tickets replied to, and tickets closed. Messages received and messages sent. Resolution time, conversion rate, and total sales from support. And besides the KPIs above, you should also measure your employee engagement to make sure that your employees are actually satisfied with their job as well. Build a user-friendly customer help center. When customers come across a problem, they won't reach out to you right away. In fact, about 81% of customers will actually try to solve a problem all on their own before talking to a customer service rep. So how can you help your customers in this scenario? You can keep your visitors' navigation options at a minimum. You can have a clearly visible search bar at the top of every page, a prominent call to action to contact your customer experience and sales team, and a frequently asked questions section that they can access. Number three, always remember the customer's first name. And this might sound stupid, this might sound, kind of obvious, but people do forget your name from time to time. Every customer you have wants to feel important. And one of the best ways that you can make customers feel important is through personalization. Unfortunately, many companies do actually fail at this. And let's take live customer service reps, for example. Only 1 in 5 customer service agents will remember a customer's name, which is totally unacceptable. Addressing your customer by name in every single message can actually make them feel special. Using a help desk integrated with your store can also help you by avoiding asking your customer for information that you already have in your database. Try to respond to complaints immediately. So first response time is a metric that refers to the time your customers spend waiting with a question or a problem before being attended to. As you'd expect, having a low first response time results in better customer satisfaction rates. That means that you should answer customer inquiries right away. No matter what they have a question about, try to answer it in a timely manner. So how much time do you actually have to respond? Some rough guidelines suggest that around 120 seconds to respond to live chat, over an hour to respond to social media, and up to 24 hours to respond via email. Only use positive and professional language. Sometimes it's not about what you have to say, it's about how you're saying it, which you've heard time and time again. You need to make sure that you have a sound, level-headed, calm, and calculated response whenever you're in contact with a customer. If you're delivering bad news, you need to be direct and professional about it. At the same time, you should also try to find a way to solve the problem. For instance, if a customer has ordered something that was out of stock, an automated email telling them that you don't have the product right now just won't cut it. You should tell the customer when it can expect it to be back in stock and perhaps offer another product in replacement for the one that you can't ship right away. Be proactive instead of reactive. And obviously by its nature, customer service is a reactive job. When your customers encounter a problem, they come to your customer support reps for a solution. However, that doesn't mean that you can't approach certain problems proactively. Case in point, shipping delays, which we all know too much about. To keep your customers in the loop, you can send out daily emails about the weather, about transport, and other factors that could potentially cause setbacks like COVID-19 over the last 6 months. That will set customer expectations right and prepare them for any possible delays. Be as clear as possible about your policies. More often than not, customers are worried about the fine print. As a matter of fact, nearly 7 out of 10 e-commerce customers want to review the customer's return policy before making a purchase. Sloppy policies will turn off a lot of customers, understandably. Every policy on your website needs to be clearly written so that users can easily find the things that they're looking for. An important point that I talked about earlier is to use automation, but absolutely do not overuse it. Automate your answers to common questions like, where's my order? It's 2020 and everyone is using automation. Not only will it help you concentrate on aspects of work that really require your attention, automating certain tasks can also help you lower your first response time, your churn rates, and increase customer satisfaction. For example, you can automate your email response so that if a customer asks a question about business hours, then you can still answer them. However, you should make sure not to rely on automation too much. Automation should absolutely work in alliance with your customer service reps, but no matter how good the system is, it simply can't have all the answers to all customer questions. Don't forget about community engagement. For some, a community engagement strategy consists of asking customers to like their page on Facebook, follow their business on Twitter, Instagram, and not much else. And having thousands of followers and likes is absolutely a good look for your business, but you can't let those followers go to waste. And here's what you need to do. You need to engage your followers and get them talking about the experience with your brand. And a few of the questions that you can ask to outline this is, what do you plan on doing with the community? Are you doing everything you can to engage the members? And what type of information can you get from the members? And finally, actively collect customer feedback. Customer surveys are a great way to collect feedback, and they can be annoying for some customers, of course. People simply don't like to log into a portal to answer a few questions. We all get that. And that's why you should embed your surveys into emails and send them out directly to your customers. And for example, utilizing Gorgias to do that, our customer satisfaction survey feature can help you find out how well your customer support reps are doing their work. And these surveys can then be automatically sent out to a customer every time they have an interaction with one of your service reps. You can then use these surveys to train future team members, to inform future strategies, so on and so forth. And so the bottom line here is an e-commerce business that doesn't pay too much attention to customer service will probably struggle, especially in 2020, and obviously with the focus on D2C into the future. Following the 10 tips above will allow you to improve your retention rates, get better customer reviews, and of course, increase your bottom line. And as we talked about at the top, as part of this discussion, I want to bring in one of our customers, Karagan Osmann, who's the founder and CEO of the Smoo Co. She's a customer of ours, and she can provide really, really great context with respect to this topic that I just ran through, and also as it relates to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as we're approaching that in about a month's time. And so, Karagan, obviously, thanks so much for taking the time to share your experiences with Gorgias and utilizing customer support to satisfy your customers. Maybe I'll just toss it to you for a quick 30 to 45-second intro just on who you are, your background, and a bit about the Smoo Co as well.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, hello. My name is Karagan, and I am the founder of Smoo. And so Smoo is a hormone balance powder that I made off of my personal experience with something called PCOS, which is a hormone imbalance. And so Smoo is a supplement that helps with a lot of different hormone imbalances such as PMS, PCOS, endometriosis, menopause, and more. And so it's been amazing. My background is mainly in customer experience before I created Smoo. And so I've actually had a lot of experience with Gorgias and other customer experience platforms. And I have since moved over to only using Gorgias. And so I'm happy to share my experiences with that.
Well, I'm obviously glad to hear that. So, thanks a lot for the intro, Karagan. I'm sure you're going to have some great context with respect to this topic. So why don't we start just based on what you talked about just in the latter half of your intro there. So given your experience with Gorgias, including utilizing macros, which essentially are canned responses, and the automation within, how have you been able to manage a high volume of customer requests through the platform and in general?
Yeah, so I guess just to give a little further background. So I actually came over, so I worked at a big Fortune 500 company using Zendesk, and it's funny because when I found Gorgias, it was everything I'd ever hoped for, because literally everything is all in one, and it made everything so much easier, because when you make a macro in Gorgias, what's incredible about it is all the different fields that can automatically fill in. I mean, the time saved using Gorgias has been incredible. And so, you know, with handling one of the companies that I consult for, we have about 400 tickets a day, and that's a very high volume. And so having those automations built in is really a game changer, because we're able to really create still customized and personalized responses, because we save so much time with the little nitty gritty. So say we have a return and we need to like refund an order. I mean, everything is built in, from the order number to the refund amount to their first name. So like all of those little pieces are already in there. And so when we actually go to do the transaction, we have that much more time to add our little touch to the experience. So it's really amazing.
Thanks for that answer, Karagan. So obviously appreciate your context with respect to Gorgias and utilizing this across multiple platforms, including the Smoo, which you talked about. I also want to talk a little bit about social media, because in e-commerce, social media, you know, Facebook, Instagram, other channels are super important in order to drive an audience. So how have you been able to engage with your social media audience? And you have quite the following, I think, on a couple platforms, you know, given how critical the channel is in e-commerce.
So that is a huge point. And actually, like, one of the biggest struggles, especially, you know, before I had found Gorgias, was the fact that managing multi-channels was very difficult. And so, you know, we had a big team, and we'd actually like section off people to handle social media. And it was a little unideal in a way, because it would take away their time from emails, and then they'd be going on and doing social media. And then, you know, there'd only be 2 hours of the day that they would be answering, you know, the Facebook comments and the IG comments. And so with Gorgias, I mean, one of the best things about it is the fact that Instagram and Facebook comments go into Gorgias and can be managed by the team just as one. So the team is just trained on everything as a totality. But even more importantly, ad comments, because for me at least, you know, we get a lot of ad comments, and I think ad comments are something that are very commonly ignored by companies. Like, you know, it's just, they're kind of hard to get to. Like, you go into Facebook, it's super challenging. So with Gorgias, we've been able to integrate it so every person who comments on our ad, it goes into Gorgias and they get responded to every single day, and within typically hours. And so it's been really a game changer. And I think, like, you know, it's not incredibly common to see that when you go to an ad, that every single comment is answered to, but it's given us the ability to provide that experience. And I do think that's been a total game changer. I think even just from like the consumer's eye, seeing an ad for the first time, or a company's responding, they all of a sudden become more trustworthy, just because it shows that the company's present and there to answer your concerns. So it's been really incredible to have.
Awesome. And also, one of the things I talked about early on is, you know, and one of the things that we actually preach at Gorgias is that we want to turn the customer support function into more of a sales-driven function. So we want to allow agents to drive sales out of, you know, what they use on customer support. So can you tell us a little bit about, you know, with your experience with Gorgias and customer experience platforms in general, how you've been able to get in front of the customer to then actually drive sales out of that function, and a few strategies around that?
Sure. So, you know, one of the ways that I've found very effective with Gorgias is utilizing macros to do this. But I think a lot of people can relate when I say price is a huge objection. A lot of the times, you know, it's especially like in the supplement world or some higher end products, you know, people will be like, oh, like, you know, that's so expensive. Like, what are you paying for? And so one of the ways that we've been able to, you know, kind of combat that is we'll have custom built out macros kind of for the price objection that's kind of tailored towards what the customer is asking. And so it's been really great, because we're able to, you know, talk to customers about all the price saving or the discounts that we have without actually giving discounts. So, you know, we have subscribe and save that they can sign up for, or, you know, if they want to become an ambassador, like, there's ways to save. And so it's kind of like a way to promote other aspects of your site and also promote loyalty without actually just constantly giving away discount codes, which I really enjoyed. And so utilizing macros to just like talk about price and, you know, take all that stuff that would take way too long normally to talk about and be able to share with customers has been really awesome. Also, with that said, you know, we do have custom tailored macros for different things. Like if a customer orders, we just have one SKU, so it's a little bit different, but we have different flavors. So say, you know, they didn't like unflavored because it's herbal, it's a very herbal taste. You know, we have the ability to recommend other flavors, and also we have our smoothie recipes like built into the emails where we'll send out smoothie recipes and things like that. So we have a lot of opportunities to save the sale, to move the sale over to another flavor. And so there's just a lot of ability within that where, you know, we don't have a high churn rate because of that. So it's really, I've used the macros the most in order to just promote sales and also just prevent churn rate.
Yeah, absolutely. Utilizing macros in-house is one of the most important things that we also preach, and I'm glad to hear that that's enabled you to drive some sales out of that function. And a couple of things that you were talking about actually led me to think about live chat campaigns as well, in terms of how you can kind of get in front of the customer. And live chat campaigns can be super effective in the sense that it can reduce the number of returns that you have come through to your store. It can help customers make a purchase. And essentially what a live chat campaign is the ability to set, you know, a pop-up on any given screen that the customer is on, you know, to answer some of the questions that they might have, or to poke them with a question that they might have in the near future. And one example I can think of is on a sizing page, for example, if you're, you know, an apparel company or a shoe company, and, you know, say, for example, that your shoes run a half size larger than, you know, the average shoe size in the US. You might actually want to institute a live chat campaign there that tells people that exact fact so that they can make the appropriate purchase in that scenario. And obviously what that's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to make a sale, but also, and equally as importantly, it's going to prevent them from needing to return that item back to you and look to purchase another item, which they may or may not do. So that kind of ties in nicely to a few of the points that you were making there, you know, with respect to macros and inducing sales out of that function. And last question I have for you, Karagan, is, you know, generally speaking, you know, Black Friday and the holidays are coming up super fast, critical time in e-commerce environment, direct-to-consumer businesses. What are some of your general strategies and initiatives that you have with respect to this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and how are you going about employing those strategies?
Yeah, so, you know, Black Friday has obviously become an even bigger thing in the D2C world in the past few years. And with that, you know, it's also become increasingly expensive to break through the noise. And so we actually do kind of a unique thing just to, you know, do our part in breaking through the noise without really high costs. And so we actually hold an early Black Friday sale, and we'll be doing that this year as well, about 1 week before. And so this is just so we can run ads and run them at a cost-effective point, and then we will be running another Black Friday sale on the actual day. But we've I've done this for a couple companies in the past. It's worked really effectively, and so I actually have I'm a huge believer in it, and so we're bringing it to Smoo, and so that's one of the biggest. But we're also going to be really trying to focus on like customer segmentation and getting, you know, customers back who haven't been with us for a while. Also, we want to do a VIP access, so a VIP sale for our VIP customers. And what's really cool is I actually have a list from Gorgias that they label our VIP customers, which is really cool. So we'll be able to email them through that. And then we're just going to be like all hands on deck. And so, I mean, it's going to be a really, really busy time, but we're going to try to, you know, be online for most of the day and be engaging customers so we don't really lose anyone. And so it's going to be really exciting. I'm excited for it.
Definitely. Yeah. I think everybody's super excited for BFCM to see what it can do for their business, but those are some really great strategies and initiatives. So appreciate you sharing that there. And if you want to check out Karagan's business, it's thesmooco.com. It's THESMOOCO.com. give her a page view and see if you like the product. I'm sure you will. But we're going to end it there. I mean, that was a lot of great context from you, Karagan. So I appreciate that from the customer support perspective in, tying into some of the tips that we had to share with respect to customer support.